Liz, our board president, that it'd be nice to upgrade our membership list. So if you are already a member, then we need to get some kind of that way we can get a new updated list. That would be nice to have.
Yeah, if you're already a member, let me get over here.
Yeah, for online, yes.
For online, yeah. If you're already a member, hi. Go to the website or go to Breeze and update your information on Breeze. If you're not on Breeze, you may want to come to the next lesson next Sunday for class, because Maria's going to be here and let everybody know how to get on Breeze, how to update your information, and other things that volunteers will need to know going forward. So if you're having trouble doing that and communicating with us, you definitely want to come and stay for the next meeting, where we'll go over some of that stuff. And I really highly recommend it for everybody who volunteers with the church to try and stick around for that meeting next week. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Breeze is a church member management website. So it's kind of like your CRMs, your client relations management, that a lot of businesses use. But what it is, so it has ways that you can, as a volunteer, you can opt out for certain days. You can say, these are my blackout days, I'm not available. So when we're trying to schedule people, it's got a place where you can update your contact information. We use it for signups. There's often a link in the newsletter or on the website when we're doing online signups. That will take you to a specific page, and then those members get tagged for that event, so that when we send out emails relevant to that event, it goes only to those people who have signed up. So
it also forms our donation.
Yes, it also, all of the donations get recorded to Breeze so that Dean can send out statements at the end of the year. So, but Maria will be giving like a short 10-minute class on how to use it. B-R-E-E-Z-E, yes, okay. There's a special, I don't know if you can go to that and look up Unity Georgetown, or if you have to have our special login, but that's the information we'll be sharing next week. And in preparation for that, I'll make sure we have handouts so that if you can't stay for the meeting, you can at least get that information, okay? Thanks.
And we also welcome transfer members too. So enough of the business stuff. Let's get to the business of spiritual healing. So everybody rise and let's open up with our first song.
I'm so glad Spirit lifted me. I'm so glad Spirit lifted me. I'm so glad Spirit lifted me, singing glory, hallelujah. Spirit lifted me. When I was in trouble, Spirit lifted me. When I was in trouble, Spirit lifted me. When I was in trouble, Spirit lifted me, singing glory, hallelujah. Spirit lifted me. When I was feeling lonely, Spirit lifted me. I was feeling lonely, Spirit lifted me. When I was feeling lonely, Spirit lifted me, singing glory, hallelujah. Spirit lifted me. I'm so glad Spirit lifted me. I'm so glad Spirit lifted me. I'm so glad Spirit lifted me, singing glory, hallelujah. Spirit lifted me.
just say it, feel it. Ann.
Good morning. We'll make an announcement here with my dropping it on the table here. Make a noise. We're going to light the candle of divine expression. It's represented by the concepts of mind, idea, and expression. Divine mind, the source and creator of all. Divine idea, that we are spiritual beings, ideas in the mind of creator, and divine expression of the Christ, unique and perfect for each one of us.
God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Love is my source. Love is my power. Love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Love gives me everything I need. Joy is my source. Joy is my power. Joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Joy gives me everything I need. Peace is my source. Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
Let's now say together our prayer of intention. Living Spirit opens our minds, opens our hearts, touches us all deeply with love, and sends us out as agents, agents of peace, agents of justice. Amen. And so we now send our children out as agents of love with our Sunday school teacher, and we'll see you back in a little while. That's right. So now please join me in affirming our statement of being and our vision and mission statements. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God the good, omnipotent. Centered in God, we co-create a world of love, peace, and abundance. We are a thriving spiritual community, inspiring and empowering individual and global transformation as exemplified by the life and teachings of Jesus.
The daily word for today is gratitude. What joy it is to feel gratitude from my heart and filling my mind. Feeling grateful makes me aware of the all-encompassing presence of God, including the divine within me. When I live from my spiritual nature, gratitude becomes the song of my heart. I don't need to wait for a reason to feel grateful. When I live with an attitude of gratitude, I find the good in every situation, the blessing that can come from any adversity, and the presence of God in every aspect of life. Practicing gratitude opens my eyes to the blessings that are present and opens my heart to receive even more. I give thanks for an unlimited world, blissful peace, and perfect wholeness. Let us come into his presence with thanksgiving. Let us make a joyful noise to him with songs of praise. Psalm 95, verse 2. Today's affirmation is, gratitude is my natural state of mind. Please repeat the affirmation twice with me. Gratitude is my natural state of mind. Gratitude is my natural state of mind.
All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All love, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul. Let me know all is love, holy, holy. All joy, holy, holy. All joy, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul. Let me know all is joy, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All good, holy, holy. All in my mind, in my heart and my soul. Let me know all is good, holy, holy.
Thank you, Dan. It's time now for our community prayer. And so I invite you to just get comfortable in your seats, whether you're here with us or at home. But just get comfortable, maybe put things out of your laps. And if you feel all right doing that, just close your eyes and sink into this space. So many blessings. I was driving home, and normally I don't really like driving in the rain, but I could see that rain in front of me and knew I was going to drive into it. And it was really dark, and it was really coming down hard, And I felt such gratitude for that rain, knowing that it was nourishing our earth, our trees and our plants, the birds, all the animals, our lakes, all those ways that the rain nourishes. And I was so grateful. We know that there are always many things that we feel gratitude for, and we also know that there are things in our hearts that we want to hold dear, for special prayers, for extra gratitude, for joys and for sorrows. We know that there is still a lot of strife going on in our country and in the world. And in this moment, we can place special attention of love and affirmation of peace and of calmness and of discourse, of reason, and come together and solve the problems that are before us. Each one of us may have family members we're holding dear, family members we feel concerned for, community members in our church, neighbors in our homes. We hold each one of these right now in our hearts and in our minds, that special prayer that goes out to each one of them. Let's just take a moment for each of us to speak those names, those places, those situations out loud or silently in our hearts, for those prayers of healing, of joy, whatever it is. Let's just take a moment for that right now. There's such energy when we do that. I can feel that energy in this room. So each time we join in prayer, even if we're sitting alone, we're not alone. We bring that energy together each time we open our hearts and our minds to prayer. So with that gratitude and those blessings, let's close our time of prayer today by singing an ancient prayer, a prayer handed down through the ages that affirms God's realm manifest in earth as it is in heaven, our Lord's Prayer.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
When I was thinking this morning about what it was I wanted to share with you all in this little time we have for a spiritual practice, and you who've been here before with me know that I kind of like gratitude, but I didn't actually know that gratitude was the word for today in the daily word, so I thought, well, how appropriate that that was what I wanted to do. Because I do think that gratitude is such an important practice. I have really been focusing my own practice lately on gratitude, because I have been in somewhat of a slump for a while and a little bit too attached to all the things I read and see and, the news and all those things, social media. and it has gotten to me. And so I've really been focusing on my practices of gratitude. And I was sitting here listening to Dan sing, and every time I'm sitting up here and I'm looking at that mural back there, have you all really looked at that? I mean, on this wall, it's gorgeous. It's so beautiful. It is the beauty of the earth that's out there, and the colors and the sky, and it just feels really good to think about that, to focus on things like that. But one of the things that I've become aware of that isn't like revolutionary, but it kind of came to me, that there's a difference between gratitude and gratefulness. And in many ways, gratitude is kind of transactional. I am grateful when something happens, or when something is that I've wanted happens, or if someone says something nice or whatever, I'm grateful for that. But having an attitude of gratitude, that sense of gratefulness, is the experience we have about life. So we can feel that gratitude in life, even if we're not, nobody's giving us anything, there's no transaction, there's not something that's necessarily happened, but we can see and feel gratitude, which gives me the opportunity to make that an active practice in my life. I can actively experience gratitude. And I know that I've said in here before, and we know this, that we aren't necessarily grateful for all the things that have happened in our lives, but we can still find gratitude, feel that sense of gratitude and gratefulness as an action and as an active practice. It's an orientation to life. I can wake up in the morning, I'm good at this. I can wake up in the morning and decide I'm gonna have a really bad day, and I will, because that has been the orientation that I brought to the day. I can also wake up in the morning and have a different orientation that involves my sense of gratitude for all the things around me. That painting that I think about, and I never remember to say it when I'm up here, but it's beautiful. That rain, the desert willow tree that didn't die, that we recently last year planted, and it still got little blooms on it. Those things that can make me feel that sense of gratitude and gratefulness. So if we can do that, then we can have a different orientation to life, and we can experience our lives differently. I was thinking about the ice storms that we had, especially the one 2 years ago, when many, many people were without power, and many people were without water, and many people were without both of those things for several days. And we were very, very grateful when that came back. But I don't have a sense of gratitude when I get up in the morning and turn the light on and then run the water to make my coffee. But I want to be. And so that's part of my practice, to feel that, have that orientation of gratefulness for the things that are all around us that we can just take for granted. I want to read a really short story from Thich Nhat Hanh about gratitude that I really love. So, he says, when I have a toothache, I discover that not having a toothache is a wonderful thing, right? That is peace. I had to have a toothache in order to be enlightened, to know that not having one toothache is wonderful. My non-toothache is peace, is joy. But when I do not have a toothache, I do not seem to be very happy. Therefore, I need to look deeply at the present moment and see that I have a non-toothache. And that can make me very happy already. So being grateful for those things that we take for granted is a powerful practice. Breathing. We are alive. Just that breath. This room we're sitting in is cool and comfortable. Some of us said it was a little too cool, like me when I came in, but just the things we take for granted. It's wonderful in here. So we're going to sit for just a couple of moments of silence, and I'd love for you to just meditate on those things in your life that you take for granted and how you might feel and have an orientation of gratefulness for those things. So if you'll be able to sit in this silence, and when our meditation time is over, Dan will bring us out with song.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you, Penny, for those wonderful words. Well, as you know, this is the part where I do my laughter is the best medicine, because, you know, when you're laughing, you just kind of expel anything negative out of your body. You just kind of do. And I had said that I had been running out of jokes. In the last couple of weeks, people have been sending me jokes. So this is from Dolores. She sent me quite a few of them. And so this is one of the wonderful things about Unity, is that this is the only place where I'd be able to actually even say something like this. So here it goes like this. It's the man and his ostrich. So a man walks into a bar with an ostrich behind him, and they sit down, and the bartender comes over and asks him for an order. And he'll say, I'll have a beer. And the ostrich says, I'll have one as well. And so he brings them, and he says, it'll be $3.40. So he reaches into his pocket, pulls out exactly $3.40. And he says, okay, thank you. The next day, they come again, and they do the same thing. And he said, I'll have the same thing again. So he pulls out $3.40 exactly. And then the next day, they come in, and the bartender says, will you have the usual? And he said, no, it's getting close to closing time, and I'll have a large scotch, says the man. Same for me, says the ostrich. Well, that'll be $7.20, says the bartender. And once again, the guy reaches into his pocket and he pulls out exactly the money. And the bar says, okay, how is it that you always have exactly the right amount of change? And he says, well, because I was looking through my attic and I found a lamp and I rubbed it and the genie came out and granted me 2 wishes. And the first one I told her, well, I want to have money, exact money for anything that I may have. She said, okay, anytime you reach into your pocket, you will have exactly what you need. And the bartender says, that is brilliant. Somebody might have asked for $1 million, but that's a fixed amount. So now, and he said, it doesn't matter, a Rolls Royce, whatever I reach for will come out. And then that is just marvelous. But I got to ask you another question. I said, what's with the ostrich? And he says, oh gosh, I wish you had not asked me about that. I'm a little embarrassed about that, honestly. And he said, why? Because my second wish was a chick with long legs. Thank you, Dolores. I'm telling you. See, now we cleared out all the energy. Now we're open and receptive to listening to a message. So today I want to talk about the 5 principles. And today is number 1. And we can kind of call it no spot where God is not. And today and next week, Unity Spiritual Center Georgetown will be conducting membership classes. And ever since I arrived, I've been wanting to share the lessons that I have about the 5 principles with you. And I was just waiting for the right time. And guess what? This is the right time. And so they are, after all, the foundation of how we see the universe, our lives, and the relationship between the two. So today's a perfect day. It gives us all an opportunity to share these lessons as a group. Unity is unique in many ways, as you know, but we are distinctly unique in the sense that we have no creed or dogma. Nothing specific you must believe in order to be a member. But we do have 5 principles that guide and formulate our philosophy, our theology, however you want to base that. And these principles are quite lofty. They really are. And another aspect about unity that's very interesting is that we also don't require you to give up any affiliation that you may have with another religious organization. I've told you before that when I first came to Unity, I would come to the service, and I would leave and I'd go to Catholic Mass because I was the youth director for the high school age music team. So I did that for a while. Now, there are various reasons why we do not have set beliefs. And the first, and probably the most important, is that we teach and appreciate an open mind and an open heart. Because an individual with an open mind and an open heart is always growing in awareness, always expanding in his or her consciousness. And this is consistent with our belief that every day is new and that our consciousness is expanding every day as a result of the experience of that day. Unity co-founder Charles Fillmore did not write a single thing down for 20 years because in his reasoning was, the person that I am today is not the person that I'm going to be tomorrow. And so he knew that to hold down a steadfast set of beliefs is a limitation, contrary to life's unlimited nature. Let me say that again. To hold down a steadfast set of beliefs is contrary to life's unlimited nature. We limit ourselves. So we try not to do that. Eventually, he was persuaded to start writing things down, and so that we could pass on this new understanding of the relationship with God and man that came to be known as the New Thought movement. Many years later, his great-granddaughter, Connie Fillmore Bazzy, she was the president of the Unity School in Kansas City at the time, and she was asked if she could summarize our teachings, and she came up with the 5 principles. And they have since become the cornerstone of what we teach. We are all familiar with them, or should be familiar with them. If you'd like the reminders, they are on our bookmarkers. We have some outside. You can pick some up. And I'm going to challenge you to try to explain them to somebody in your family who doesn't know what they are. Give it a shot. See if you can do it. So today, I'm going to begin with unity principle number 1. But before I do, let me note them all for you. Number 1, God is absolute good, everywhere present. 2, human beings are created in the image of God, and our very essence is divine. Therefore, we are inherently good. 3, we create our life experiences through our thoughts and our beliefs. 4, through affirmative prayer and meditation, we align with God, with Source, and bring out the good in our lives. 5, I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. Now, a condensed version of this might be something like this, and I've heard several versions. This is the one that I use. It goes like this: God is, I am, I create, I align, I act. So those are the 5 principles. So let's begin with the first one. God is absolute good, everywhere present. I'm going to ask you to do something. I'm going to ask you to close your eyes just for a moment. I'm going to throw a word out there for you, and I want you just to see what is the first thing that comes to your mind. Are you ready? The word is God. So what came to your mind? What? All. Very good. Because I was wondering if any kind of a notion of a being of some sort still came to your mind. A super being, a supreme being, or something like that. Because, remember Meister Eckhart said, God is not a being, God is beingness. And you probably share in that. And I want to know if maybe for the first thought that came to my mind, for example, if I'm going to be completely honest, even though I've been in the university now, I don't know, not that long, maybe 16 years or something, and becoming a minister, but I still have, maybe it's the Catholic background, just a little residual of that anthropomorphic God that just kind of wants to creep in just a tad. It's not dominant anymore, but it's kind of still there if I am to be completely truthful with myself. Now, I totally agree with Meister Eckhart at 100%, but that's not my first go-to guy, and that's my point exactly. And how do I know this? Because let me tell you what didn't come to my mind. And maybe it didn't come to your mind either. Trees, grass, mountains, a sunset, beautiful music, an ant, the image of 1 billion galaxies, love, and the last one, me, or in your case, you. Especially if these last two, love and yourself, did not first come to your mind, then you, like I, still have a little bit of work to do, because that other image, that old image of God is still lurking in there somewhere. How do we change that? Well, I mean, your journey is your journey, and how you change that is going to be up to you. But for me personally, my self-prescribed remedy is honestly to stop using the word as much as possible, because I feel like I'm going upstream with it. So I like to use spirit or source a lot more often. And the reason why is because neither one has any anthropomorphic image or connotation to it. Spirit, source, is just, has a different feel to it. Now, that's just me being straight up with me. And, because I said, I'm not telling you how to do this. But anyway, God's not going to take offense. Because that's one of the things we have learned, that God does not take offense. Remember the lesson, prodigal son. God does not take offense. So principle 1, God is absolute good, everywhere present. Let's see if we can make some progress on this. Every Sunday morning, we begin early on with our statement of being. There is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotent. Now, this is extremely important. First and foremost, because it is our first principle. Second, Because right out of the gate, it's telling everybody we see things differently. We are centered in that oneness. And it also makes clear it dispels a couple of myths. One is that God is a being of any kind, because there's no noun or pronoun in that statement. There is none. Second, it dispels the well-regarded myth that there is an opposing power in the universe. That's a big part of that statement, is to try to say there is not an opposing power in the universe. For most everyone, that there is, the idea that there is an opposing power is a given. You can go to any traditional service that you like, and you're going to hear talk about the enemy, the devil fighting for your soul, things like that. And of course, the end times, that place when we have that big battle between the forces of good and the forces of evil. This is what most people believe. And again, we learned this recently. It's not about right or wrong. It's just, we learned in the last month and a half or so through the various lessons that we've been doing, that really they represent characteristics of stages that we go through. Remember, they were their tribal, the warrior, the traditional. That 75% of the entire world population is still within that framework. So, but the irony is that same people, the 75% who believe that, also believe that God is all-powerful, everywhere present, and all-knowing. The three characteristics that we mostly ascribe to God. But the problem here is that's just not being mindful of your words. You can't have a God that's all-powerful, everywhere present, and all-knowing, and still have another power. It just doesn't really make any sense. I did a lesson once about what is God. And my brother at the time, I don't know if he still is, was going to Jehovah's Witnesses. And he talked to me, what are you going to talk about this week, brother? And I said, what is God? And he goes, you mean who is God? And I said, no, I pretty much mean what is God? and I said, Benny, one of the things that I like to say is, like, I may not know what God is, but I know what God isn't. And God is not what I've been told it is. And so the question about what is God, when you put it in the context of all-powerful, everywhere present, and all-knowing, the question really isn't, what is God? The question is, what is not God? From that perspective. And the answer is, of course, nothing. Nothing is not God, including you, and including me, and including the grass and the mountains. And in fact, in Unity, we have a saying, and I said this right now when I started, there is no spot where God is not. And the Psalms agree with that statement. 139:7, you probably heard it. I've used it several times. Where shall I go from your presence? Or where shall I flee from your spirit? If I ascend to heaven, thou art there. If I make my bed in hell, thou art there. Imagine that. God in hell. How does that work exactly? Sometimes I like to just look at things lightly. And I said, on the possibility, a rare possibility that I end up in hell, that's the good news, is that God is there too. And if I get the bunk next to him, I'm going to have all of eternity to ask him, how does this work out? What are you doing here? But that's what it says in Psalms. It's very strange. God is absolute good, everywhere present. In the booklet, the one I had here that we passed out recently about the 5 principles, there's an article that Reverend Kelly Isola, who I like to consider her my friend, she's really a great person. It's called Living Oneness, and she says, the first principle tells us that there is only one presence and one power. What are traditionally known as the other 4 principles, I believe, are really practices. That's what she says. They are 4 ways of bringing the one presence and the one power, the principle of oneness, into conscious awareness, then acting from that awareness of oneness. That's pretty good, Kelly. I like that. In other words, it is saying that everything is just a variation of that one first principle, period. And so that's interesting. Now, there's another unique aspect of unity and regarding God that we have that tradition does not have. And we've talked about it in the other, and on Wednesday mornings. And then the word is panentheistic. Panentheistic, meaning that God is both transcendent and immanent, out there and in here. Reverend Ellen, in this 5 Principles book, she says, we are like fish in water. And she quotes St. Paul when he says in him, but in it we live and move and have our being. So I just recently shared some from Reverend Paul Smith about the 3 faces of God, which I like to change to 3 phases of God for the same reason, to eliminate that anthropomorphic element of it. And he says there are 3 faces, he says there is the I, the first person, the inner face of God, the thou, the second person, the intimate phase of God, and the it, the third person, the infinite phase of God. So the I, the inner, thou, the intimate, and it, the infinite. And I said, wow. So I think I like to equate it with our divine order, which is mind, idea, expression. Mind would be the it, the infinite aspect of God. Idea would be the thou, the intimate aspect of God. And expression would be the I, the personal aspect of God. So before closing this topic, let me correct something that I said earlier. I said that I was talking about the characteristics of God, all-knowing, all-powerful, everywhere present. But see, that's incorrect that I said that. And I caught myself when I was making notes. I said, I see, you're doing it. You're continuing with that anthropomorphic thing. Because the way to really see it, and it changes everything, and maybe I've said this before, but I'll say it again. Let's correct that. Because to say God is all-powerful, all-knowing, and everywhere present is to say that there is something with something. And that's incorrect. So the correct way to say it would say, God is not omnipresent. God is omnipresence. God is not all-powerful. God is all-power. God is not omniscient. God is omniscience. That changes everything. Let me leave you with a brief little reading from the end of chapter 1 of the 5 Principles. It's because every one has a little meditation on it. And it's a very short little thing. But I'm going to ask you to just, if you're comfortable, close your eyes for a second and listen to every word. And just take in the word and be the word. Be the word, whatever the word is. Just be it and go with it. It says, I enter into the stillness to align myself with the one mind, the one presence that permeates all of creation. I feel myself as part of this creation, connected to all of nature. I am the light and I am the darkness. I am the oceans and I am the land. I am the rocks and the trees, the fish and the birds, the beasts of the earth, and I am one with every human being on the planet. In this oneness, I sense the order of all things. I feel the divine love that moves me and in every molecule of the cosmos. I know the divine intelligence that is the foundation of all that is or ever will be. I am one with all. Take that in and remember that as you go about your week. Have a blessed one. Let me remove this. So it comes the time now when we offer our tithes and our gifts to our spiritual community in gratitude for this place. And remember that It is sustained by you. There's no other source. And God, of course. God is our source, but it comes through you. So we take our tithes together and we say, where am I? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love and trust God. Bring our children back in.
Everything I see, everything I do is blessed by your hand, God. I give it back to you. Everything I give, every thought that's true, is magnified in kind, God. I'll give it back to you.
Ooze. Let us bless these tithes together. We bless and dedicate these tithes and offerings as an expression of divine love, and we release them to manifest that love in our community and in our world. Now we bless our children, but first we ask them to share what it is they did today.
First off, I want to let everybody know that we're looking, excuse me,
That's fine.
that if you want to be a superhero too and work with the kids, see Donna, okay? I'm not going to brag on them any more than you already know. These are my granddaughters. This is Olivia.
Hi.
And Roxana.
Hi.
And Ariana.
Hi. So today we made little cards with basically different powers on them. Mine is love, because I think that there are a lot of people in the world that don't get the love they deserve, and I want to give them that.
What are yours?
And mine are release and life. It's a little dog and a balloon on it.
Yeah, we know all about release. We saw all those balloons go up, huh? Okay, and what's yours?
Mine is strength, and I picked this card because I know I have strength, so.
Yes, you do. You have more strength than any 5 people put together. Okay, thank you.
Now we're going to bless the children. We love you.
And the teachers, yes, absolutely.
We love you. We
Bless you. We appreciate you. And we behold the Christ in you.
Final announcements will be here at the Oaks for the rest of the year, pretty much. And today's prayer chaplain is Penny. Just so you know. Say hi, Penny. Hi there. So let's rise and close with our closing song, the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the the peace that was meant to be with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be our joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. Have a wonderful week. Yay!